great thing about the Luke Who's Talking music is that it gets you fired up because you know you're over the hump and you're heading toward the weekend and you're going to be ready to party and watch a little NFL football. Here he is, the tight end from LaSalle, Ontario himself, Luke Willson. No more mustache. How's that been treating you all week, buddy? Like, are you feeling a little colder on the upper lip?
I am, and to be honest with you, I feel less mature. You know, I felt like I was this astute, almost academic with the mustache on, and now I'm just a young punk kid.
You were like so close to sewing elbow patches on that jacket, and now you're just back to the kid from LaSalle, which I love. I think that's great.
Well, bingo.
We got to talk about the Bills, buddy. They're coming back from a bye week, and we know that Bengals win on Monday was actually intriguingly good for them. Let's take a look at the AFC standings as we speak, Luke. The Bills currently sit 11th in the conference, but you see they're really just a game back. They've got a date with the Chiefs on Sunday. That's followed by the Cowboys. We've been talking about their tough schedule for a while. Does it feel like Sunday the Bills' season could be decided, or is that really putting too much into this, considering that there is still such a logjam for those final wildcard spots?
No, Jay, to me, they have to win this Sunday. And I've been on your show numerous times, Jay, and I've said, hey, they're not out of it. They're not out of it. But the reason why I say this is the one that they have to win is because with that logjam you talk about, there's most likely, this is assuming that they take care of business and win the future games, there's most likely going to be some sort of tiebreaker there. And the tiebreaker, especially when there's 2 or 3 teams, goes to conference record, and the Bills' conference record right now is 3-5. So if you look at these next 2 games against the Chiefs and the Cowboys, I think a split will be okay. We'll obviously keep them in it, but that split needs to be the Kansas City Chiefs win because that will give them a conference win. I mean, obviously, if you're a Bills fan, you'd like to win them both, but I can't, say it enough. They need to get this conference record up because it pretty much eliminates them unless they can run the table and get luck from other teams.
So it's a huge game for the Bills and a massive Sunday nighter. And don't forget, we'll follow the Sunday nighter. Eagles against the Cowboys. Eagles coming off that blowout loss to the 49ers. Dallas has won 4 straight since they lost to Philly in early November. They're red hot. My question for you, Luke, who actually needs this win more, the Eagles or the Cowboys?
To me, it's the Eagles. I am not sure, and I'm definitely not in this camp. But, Jay, since this blowout loss, I mean, it's been pandemonium online. They're calling for Jalen Hurts' job. I mean, this man was the leading MVP candidate 2 weeks ago. I saw a thing today of Nick Sirianni, the head coach, having to answer to reporters because fans are camping outside the practice facility with signs saying, run the ball. I mean, this team, it was 10-1. They lose 1 game. Granted, it was very, very poor performance. They just came off before that Niners game, beating Kansas City and Buffalo, and it seems like they're on the verge of just imploding, the amount of pressure, everything that's going on. And the next thing that I'll say is, for me, what's been most disappointing with the Eagles has been their offensive line play. They have a great offensive line, and that's the reason to me why the run game hasn't been as dominant as we all thought it would be, because they haven't gotten as much, physicality up front as you expect them to.
Yep.
So why I'm saying that is, although the team is young, the offensive line is not. So that bye week, trust me when I say this, is a huge ordeal. The bye meaning the 1 seed gets the bye in the playoffs. Both years we went to the Super Bowl in Seattle that I was on the team, we had that bye week. Jay, I cannot tell you how great it is to be able to rest the body a little bit, especially after a long, grueling season. Yeah. So to me, this is desperation mode. They want to get that 1 seed. They want to get all the media attention out of here. They need to win this game.
I mean, I saw NFL Network analysts saying that Hurts should be replaced with Marcus Mariota. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean? That's crazy.
Jay, we like to have fun on this show, but I'm never going to come on here and just spew utter nonsense. It's ridiculous. I saw that. I rolled my eyes. And, of course, you can nitpick stats that are just ridiculous. And then they have all these new stats, which I like for the most part, but they're not always applicable. For example, the EPA, and they say, his run EPA is really down from last year. Well, I wonder how much that takes into effect that they run the tush push that probably averages 1.3 yards per carry every game 4 times, and it's the most efficient first down play probably in the history of football. Like,
Yep.
you can't sit here and just say, oh, the run game, Jalen Hurts, put in Mariota.
Yeah.
Again, I understand certain people want to trend on Twitter, but it was utter ridiculous, and I just can't stand it.
This isn't the Oregon Ducks, Marcus Mariota. I mean, give me a break. Okay, let's talk about your Super Bowl pick was the Jets. This was before Aaron Rodgers got injured. I mean, we've moved on, but there's still so much to dig into with this team, Luke. The reports on whether Zach Wilson wants to start this week. Aaron Rodgers blasting leaks out of the team. Most of the high-profile moves this team made, they're moves that Rodgers wanted. Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, Nathaniel Hackett. Are you convinced that this season would actually have been different if Aaron Rodgers wasn't injured?
I am, and obviously I'm in the Aaron Rodgers camp as far as his playing ability goes. I've lost to the playoffs in this guy. I've seen him live many times. He's very dynamic and extremely talented. But Jay, what I think about if Aaron were on this team right now is this is a 4-8 team. They have losses to New England, I think, by 5 points. They lost to Kansas City by 3. They lost to Las Vegas by 4. And last week they lost to Atlanta by 5. You can't tell me that in all of those games, if you have Aaron Rodgers over Zach Wilson, which is a massive, massive upgrade, that he can't find a way, again, to score 5 points against Atlanta, 5 more, I should say, to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Even if he can win 3 of those 4 games, they're now sitting in the wild card spot. So, yes, I still believe it. Obviously, everything that you said stands true. Lazard has been pretty much non-existent. Cobb, we don't see. Nathaniel Hackett in this offense looks horrible. But when you have such a generational talent like Aaron Rodgers, you inject him in this offense, and it is immediately one of the better offenses in this league.
I am still very intrigued to see if we see Mr. Rodgers back in the Jets lineup before the end of the season. Can you imagine, Luke, with this franchise, the way things have been going?
You know, Jay, I sit here and I think of it, and do I think that maybe he'll play a full game? No. But I could see him coming in and getting a few drives. One of the years, I try not to talk about this year too much, but when I was in Detroit, we won our last game against Green Bay. That year we went 6-10. This was when seasons were still 16 games. But it just kind of gives you a bit of momentum going into the offseason. Hey, we played a divisional team, won a game. We have hope for the future. Let's all train hard. If you just consistently get drummed every week and you lose the last one, you kind of lack oh, man, are we going to be bad again next year?
Yeah.
So I could see Aaron coming in saying, hey, I want 2 drives, get the mojo, if you will, of the team up heading into the offseason.
I don't hate the idea. I love the idea of him chucking a Hail Mary at that, too. Hey, speaking of generational talents, when this guy was going to high school in LaSalle, Ontario in grade 10, and he took his yearbook photo for grade 10, we knew that he was going to be a generational talent, not just in the NFL, but for this network. And we know it from this incredible photo that was sent to us by an anonymous, we're going to call it an anonymous employee at TSN. Now, Luke, the reason we're bringing this back is because we got a follow-up tweet from a viewer named Darren R., and he said, what is Luke embarrassed about? His hair hasn't been better since that picture. Do you concur?
Oh, wow. I disagree wholeheartedly. I appreciate it. I'm not sure. I think it was supposed to be a compliment, but I had some wild hair ordeals in college. Obviously, last year I had the aggressive man bun. I mean, I've done some, questionable things with my hair. I think it was a lot better than that photo. Plus, the necklace is just really a tough look.
Just a reminder, the puka shell was very popular back then. So if you're questioning it, Luke wasn't the only one. And probably 90% of our staff had puka shell necklaces. So let's not just single Luke out for that one. Luke, let's talk about the Thursday Nighter. This is going to be massive. Maybe one of our best matchups of the year. I'm still a little surprised. I mean, I realize the Steelers have Mitchell Trubisky coming in. I'm still maybe a little surprised it's only a 6-point spread, but that over-under is what really catches my attention. Just over 30 for the over-under.
Yeah, I think it's high. I figured the line would be set somewhere around 20. I like this one to be like a 6-3 game here. You know, when you're scrolling on the scoreboards later in the night, is it a hockey game or is it a football game? You won't know until you really look.
That's why it's good, as we show you that we'll be following that game. That's why it's good that they called them the New England Patriots now instead of the Boston Patriots, so we wouldn't get confused about things like that when the Patriots were truly terrible. Luke will join me for the game, or for the show right after the game. We follow every primetime game this season.